Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. Time for episode 9 of Covertape Chaos Zzapped, and we have two fairly simple games this time around, so this probably won't be a very long episode. The good news is that there's just one more tape after this one where we just have 2 things on the tape. After that we start getting 4 items for pretty much the rest of the run. The cover image was depicting Secret Agent this month, a hot new arcade conversion by Ocean that I ended up getting along with my C64 as part of the Night Moves pack. It's a great game that's well worth a play. Let's get on with looking at the 2 featured games for this episode though, eh? First up, Sensible Software are back once again with one of their earliest titles, the tongue-in-cheek arcade shooter Galaxy Birds. I was actually looking forward to playing this a little bit because I enjoy classic arcade shooters such as Galaxian, Galaga and Phoenix. To call Galaxy Birds a rip-off of those games is being extremely generous, however. Where those games were all well designed, fair and fun to play, Galaxy Birds is pretty much the exact opposite in every respect. I can see how the guys at Sensible may have used a project like this to learn how to program it on the C64, but for a software publisher to actually release something this poor, that's crazy. At least it would have only cost you $1.99 of your pocket money if somehow you did decide that this was the budget game you wanted. I have to say that this is probably the absolute worst game to be included on one of these tapes so far. In fact, it's so bad that the C64 seemed to shut itself down while I was playing it in protest. I don't really have too much more to add, so let's just see what the Zzapped reviewers made of it. Julian Rignall said that Galaxy Birds was a load of rubbish, but very enjoyable rubbish and great fun to play. He went on to say, "Graphics are poor, sound is awful, but I love it." Gary Penn began his mini-review by saying that I always thought that Firebird were a bit on the stupid side, and by releasing Galaxy Birds they have proved it. Later on he added, "You really haven't lived until you've played Galaxy Birds, the game you couldn't stop." Both of these guys, as well as the third reviewer Paul Sumner, basically said that although the game was a bit crap, at £2 you may as well pick it up anyway. They ended up giving it a score of 60% and summed up their thoughts with, "Unoriginal, naff and silly, buy it for a laugh." I absolutely disagree here. You should not buy this game even for £2, especially as if you were to wait long enough you would get it for free with Zzapped anyway and still have a great magazine to read after you had played it and inevitably been disappointed. After that, it would be fair to say that I really wasn't looking forward to playing the other game, Felix, at all. I tried to look up the Zzapped review but they never covered this game, so I'm guessing that it's another one that was never actually released commercially. There were also only a few people who had left comments about the game on Lemon64, and they hadn't been very kind to it at all. So when the game loaded up and I got to play it for the first time, I was actually pleasantly surprised. Your task is to guide your little man, who I'm assuming is called Felix, inside his little UFO-looking ship and navigate maze-like caves in order to find what look like atoms. You can only carry one at a time, so you'll need to return to the start and drop it off before you go out looking for the next one. On my first attempt, I was too cautious and ran out of time, so on my second go, I threw caution to the wind and went like the clappers. I also started with the atoms that were furthest away and worked my way back to the easier ones, which seemed to work quite well. The second level threw in an extra complication. I could no longer shoot once I had collected an atom. This means you need to take a bit more time trying to avoid colliding with the enemies, but I didn't find it too difficult all in all. Things were back to normal for level 3, but the maze was a lot narrower and more convoluted now. Even though I only had to collect 3 atoms instead of 5, it was no easy task, and this is as far as I got while checking the game out for this video. Overall though, I don't think Felix is a terrible game at all. Basic looking, yes, and rather dated, but at least it's functional and reasonably good fun to play. It has managed to redeem this tape from being one of the worst ones ever in my eyes. So that brings another episode of Covertape Chaos Zzapped to a close. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, dropping a comment and sharing on social media. I'll be back once again with the next episode in 2 weeks' time, so I'll hopefully see you then. In the meantime, take care.